Mike Felder, who we just saw at ACC football kickoff in Charlotte, but West Durham way above me on the totem pole, or actually, based on a totem pole, it might be below me on the totem pole because that's the more important. But Felder, we only got about 8 minutes with Mike. We talked about Bill Belichick and that whole scene, which was definitely a circus. But now it's time to talk a little bit more about football. It's Felder in the bleachers on Twitter and the brand new Tarheel 247. I love it. That should be your new address. Mike Felder is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. We all survived the Belichick experience.
It was honestly, Adam, I'm going to be like, I'll keep it real. Here's the thing for me that stood out. I felt so bad for Gio Lopez, Thaddeus, Jackson, and then Jordan Shipp.
Yeah.
Because Belichick got up there. He kind of BS'd his way through a lot of stuff.
Sure.
And then 10 minutes of questions, right?
Yeah.
And then he answered 3. Right. He talked more about – I learned more about Dabo Swinney than I learned about UNC from him.
Right.
And I understand that he's always going to be cagey.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'm not bothered by that. But what I realized is it just sucked the air out of the room when he walked out and those kids had to go to the podium, and it was just them going to the podium while WRAL, whatever the one is in Wilmington and everybody, ABC, everybody just left.
Oh, yeah. And it happened to Dave Doran, right? I think he was on the podium after Bill, and everybody vacated the room.
So I will say this. I got to talk to Dave Doran one-on-one.
As did I.
And it was so good.
Yeah.
Because he hates it so much. And this gets back to him, this isn't a knock on him. The thing for me is I love that he hates it. And the guys that I work with, they're radio. I work for Learfield. They're radio guys, right? And so they were asking radio questions. But Dave Doran is just like, I've done this 100 times. Like, I don't need more of this. So the cool thing that I have right now, and I'm going to have to take some pictures of it, but I have Dave Doran drawing up a play.
Oh, wow.
And that really opened him up in a really big way where he got to, talk about football.
Oh, that's
what
brilliant.
He wants to talk about. That's what he cares about. And I also, I've got Peter Woods from Clemson showing where he could play. And Peter Woods says he could play every position along the defensive line. Also, he wants to play fullback this year. And that was a new thing that I kind of brought to the table where I had a great time, just talking to guys and then having guys draw up their favorite play. Brent Pry, it took Brent Pry probably 7 seconds to draw up his favorite blitz.
Really?
Yeah, it was so quick. He was like, oh, this is what I would do. And the cool thing was with Brent Pry, Virginia Tech was almost done with their Radio Row, the car wash. So who was sitting 3 feet away from me? Kyron Drones.
Okay.
So Pry draws up his favorite blitz, and then Drones
to his own herbs.
This and this and this and this. And then we hit the seam. That's where we hit it. As long as the RB chips, we're good to go. And it was so cool. That's what I love.
Coach draws up the blitz. Coach draws up the blitz. Quarterback draws up the way to beat it.
And then, but Pry also was like, that's awesome that my kid knows how to do it. So that's what I got out of ACC Media Days. We didn't have to talk about NIL. We didn't have to talk about transfer portal. The only thing we did with transfer portal was talk about how you blend the team together.
Yeah.
not like getting aggressive in the portal or being less aggressive in the portal. We talked about how do you blend this team and make them a unit. And it was really cool to hear guys. I can't even remember what team it was.
Well, Doran talked about it. Doran talked about having too many new guys last year. That they brought in too many. You do have to find a blend. Let me transition this to Clemson, because the Tigers have traditionally not brought in a lot of guys out of the portal.
Right.
And I'm looking now that they've got 17 returning starters, combined offense and defense.
Is wild.
Clemson.
So good.
A team like Clemson with 17 returning starters seems unfair.
They belong in and I know they are in the national championship discussion, obviously, but they belong there. Like they are. This team is good. They're going to be very good. Also, they might have some of the best names.
Well, yeah.
Would have.
Yeah.
And I love Wesco, too. Wesco's good. But they also have good, like Peter Woods is a good football player. They have these guys, TJ Parker? Like they have guys that are going to play in the NFL. They have, people are projecting that they're going to have 5, maybe 6 first-round draft picks. If Antonio Williams has a good season, let's go. And I think, honestly, they have the second-best quarterback in the country. And that's not a negative for them. I think Arch Manning is the best quarterback. You and I talked about this.
Right.
I think Arch Manning is the best quarterback in the country. But I think Cade Klubnik is right there. And, by the way, shout out to Cade Klubnik. He remembered me from last year. He remembered that I have a neighbor my neighbor, I have a little, he's not a little kid, I guess, because he babysat my kid. But we have a neighbor whose parents went to Clemson. He wants to go to Clemson. Right. And Cade shot a video for him last year. And Cade did it again this year. And Cade is just, I think he's one of the dudes. I think Arch is one of the dudes. I think Cade's one of the dudes. I think the reason I'm worried about Miami is because Carson Beck is not one of the dudes.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, I look at the ACC, and right now, I think Haynes King is one of the dudes. And I just, we have Clemson, and then now we have to figure out how this all fits out. And by the way, I got corrected by CJ Bailey about his height.
Oh, really?
Because I said 6'6". He goes, "Nah, man, I'm 6'7".
Oh, is he? Good for him.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, though.
Second tallest NC State quarterback behind Mike Glennon.
Yeah. He is skinnier than a fence post, but he's 6'7".
Well, look, if he has a good year, the Wolfpack might be good. Let me throw some questions at you, and we'll run through some stuff because I think on Thursday when we spoke, we talked a little bit about Clemson. So I just need confirmation on 2 things from you about Clemson. The first is their offensive line as good as it needs to be a national contender? Because to me, that will determine whether or not they can run the ball enough, even though they don't necessarily have a star there. We think they have playmakers at wide receiver, and Klubnik is good. But if their offensive line is good enough, then I think that makes them a national contender. Is it?
So it's a style thing. Styles make fights, right?
Okay.
And so when I think about that, with the idea that styles make fights, their style, I think, has to continue to evolve into being hard, being physical. And I think that's where they're going back to. So I do think they do have an offensive line that's going to be ready to do that. You throw in the fact that they do have, Olsen, not Parker, Olsen Pat Henry at tight end. He feels more like a bulky tight end than what they've had before, what they've had in the last 2 years.
Right.
So you throw that in. But I like their offensive line. I do think that, what is this? I'm trying to do this off the rip. Lincecum?
Yeah.
I think that's the name.
The center.
Yes. I think he's going to be a guy that can dig you out, and that's going to be a good thing. So I do think they have what it takes. They have Antonio Williams, we already brought up, Bryant Westco. You throw in TJ Moore.
Yeah.
I think this is a team that's going to be able to go and get it done. I think, honestly, my worry for Clemson is not the offensive line. I want to see what they look like in the running back room.
Okay. Yeah, but that's usually a position where if you block well, where you can fake it, and even if you don't have a great running back,
Sure.
They probably don't need a great running back to be an outstanding offense.
Yeah, but
right?
You know this, Gold. If it's shake and bake and I help, no, that's not the best stuffing you're ever going to get. What you need is someone, because Maffa was good. He got drafted.
Right.
And obviously you go to Spiller, you go to ATN. If you can have a good running back, you can get the job done, even with, because, and I guess, so people don't realize this. Clemson for a long time was shield blocking. And by shield just means get in the way
right.
and then let the running back do everything. They have become a heavier team because they're watching Georgia, they're watching Alabama, they're watching even Texas, Texas had about 2,000 pounds drafted this past year.
Right.
So they're realizing we have to get heavy. And they're starting to get heavy. And I think a heavy Clemson team is going to be a problem.
All right, next case here. I'm going to keep it local. When I submitted my official ranking, I had Duke 6th. I think I had Carolina 7th or 8th, and State. I had Carolina and State back to back. I think it was might have been 8-9. How do you see the three schools stacking up here?
I mean, I'll start with UNC. That's where I went. That's where I played.
Okay.
Obviously, that's who I cover now for Tarheel 24/7.
There you go, Tarheel 24/7. Mike Felder. Pulling up the website right now, by the way.
Yeah, this is a team that go 4-8, 8-4, maybe even 10-2. I will be there in the building at, is it called Jerry Richardson Stadium or Field or whatever?
Yes.
For Charlotte.
Yep.
So I will be there for that. But literally for me, they've got a lot of work to do, and we don't know a lot about that team. So I'm looking forward to seeing that and seeing what that looks like. But the thing with NC State, again, we already talked about C.J. Bailey. I'm fully on board with him. I'm so excited to watch him play. He's so good and just so. I don't even want to talent isn't even the right word. He's just there's a part of him that just makes you feel good. And with Duke, I want to see what we get. I don't know how to feel about Duke. I truly why did you put Duke 6? I'm pulling up my ballot right now.
I have faith in that coaching staff. I thought they got the most out of last year. I think their schedule is very manageable. It's not as easy as Carolina's, but I think their schedule is manageable. I like the fact that they've got, I think, really strong playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. And I think they will run the ball.
So here's what I have. I had Clemson 1, Georgia Tech 2.
Nice.
SMU 3. I've got Miami 4, NC State 5. I have Louisville, and I think I just fell in love with Brent Pry, so I put Virginia Tech 7.
Okay.
And then I've got Pitt, UNC, Wake, Florida State, Syracuse, Duke, Cal. But Duke, here's the thing. Once we go down from 1, I think Georgia Tech and SMU, I don't know what the difference is going to be. I think NC State, Louisville, and Virginia Tech and Pitt, we'll see. But I think North Carolina, Wake Forest, Florida State, Syracuse, Duke, Cal, BC even, all can be, like, that's an interchange, like, that's an amoeba, right? It is.
Right.
I think Virginia and Stanford are going to have a hard time.
Yeah, Stanford is definitely going to have a hard time. I believe everybody picked them last. I've actually seen people think Virginia's going to be good. But real quick, we're going to have to say goodbye here in a second. Virginia Tech, like the ACC needs Virginia Tech to be good.
We do.
They don't. Yes. They need to become what Virginia Tech was when they entered the league and spent like the first 7 or 8 years basically going to the ACC championship game every year. You know, I think they missed a couple. Yes. Georgia Tech was there in its place. For a while, the Coastal Division was won by a Tech, either Virginia or Georgia. The league needs Virginia Tech to get back to being really good.
The league does need that, and I think the important thing for me with that is I think Pry has a quarterback that can do it. I think that they have an offensive line that can do it, and I'm very excited to watch them go out and just get after it, man. Like, do you remember when ESPN2 had, like, the crazy logo?
Yeah.
With, like, Virginia Tech made that, and they need to get back to that.
Thursday nights at Lane Stadium, absolutely.
Dude, I've been to Lane several times, and that is a place where your mind gets blown at how insane it is.
Yeah.
I have fallen down the stairs at Lane Stadium because it goes straight up.
That should be the title of your book, Felder. Mike Felder, Tarheel 247. Also, it's Felder, the Substack, where I'm sure there are pictures of his, 47 tomatoes in the bleachers on Twitter.
There will be pictures later today from this mountain trip that I went on where there was no air conditioning. I was tired, and Felders don't hike. Felders do not hike. You have a good one.
I'll talk to you later. You're the best.